Good to see you again. It's Annie of Annie's Way, and it's so good to see you all and have you to visit me. And I really enjoy visiting you. Today, I want to talk about mothers and protecting your children. I came across an old article, an old magazine, Ebony. I subscribe to Ebony, and this is an article that was written for Jill Scott, about Jill Scott and her son. Uh, Jill Scott is a very, very successful singer, model, and businesswoman. But she has a son, and she is very fond of her son, as we all are of our children. But I noticed some things that she said. She said that she and her child's father, they parent the child together. And she mentioned that as progressive as she is, as professional as she recognizes that she can never be a man. I like that. She admits she could never be a man. She realizes there are some things that boys need to know that they can only learn from a man. So she says she does a lot to encourage her child's father to be in his life. And she said sometimes she might even have to eat humble pie. But she gives him that respect because her son needs his father. That magazine inspired me to do this podcast today. The subject of my podcast, Protect Your Children, Develop Your Children. We have a responsibility to our children, especially the young men. Remember, our baby boys are tomorrow's future men. And I'm sitting here as a person that has been referred to as progressive. I've had a lot of achievements, and I have to check myself sometime. And in checking ourselves, we need to realize that we need to give men more respect. And I'm going there. I'm going to the point of saying that, especially us black women, we need to show more respect for our men. And I'm going to give a good reason why. Other people don't respect our men like they should. They really don't. I'm from the South, but I've lived all over this country, and I've lived in a foreign country. And even today, and not just in the South, if you really listen to some people when they refer to our black men, you'll be able to see that they're talking down to them, and they don't even realize it. They don't mean to be hard. It's just ingrained, you know. So I try not to get angry, because what would make a grown person of another color call a grown person of a different color boy? You know, how do you look at a grown man and refer to him as boy? Or that's so and so and so, you know. And then a lot of our people, black people, women and men, have this habit of talking down to our young black men. They don't give them the props. So what? You might have known my son when he was a baby. You might have even diapered him if you were my brother or my sister or cousin. But he's grown now, you know. So that little boy that you coddled is now a grown man. And especially when that grown man has become an entrepreneur, he's working for himself. He has the good sense to have a job on the side, a basic job, but he's smart enough to put his efforts into a business that will grow And maybe one day he'll be able to give up that job on the side. And I call it a side job, even if it's a full-time job. If you plan to grow a business for yourself, even if you're working 40 hours a week, that should be your side job. Your primary job should be to grow your business. And us as women, our primary job is to respect that. And, it wouldn't hurt if sometimes in conversation, a person might mention your man or your nephew, and if he mentions them in a way that is belittling, call it to attention, because some people, they don't mean to. They've done it so long. So they don't know when they offend. Uh, for instance, I'm going to give an example again about me as a woman. But today, I primarily want to talk about men and boys. I remember when I worked civil service at Scott Air Force Base in Illinois. I was at the Officers Club one day having lunch. And I'm not bragging, but those who know me know that I've always looked good in my clothes. And I think I dress very well, and I dress professionally. And a colonel had the nerve to hand me his tray. We had gone to a buffet line, and we all had gotten our food. And he had gotten his food, put it on the table, and instead of walking his tray to where he should have, he turned around and handed his tray to me. Now, that, I guess you would say that I should have maybe turned the place out. I didn't, because there comes a time when you should be a lady. And that was a time that I needed to be a lady. It hurt. And I was with several other people, and I don't think they noticed it, because one of them might have taken it up. But you know what I did? When this colonel handed me his tray, I took it. I took the tray and I put it on the next table. I didn't even try to take it to where it belonged. But I don't want to believe that he started his day planning to demean me. I don't think I'm that important. But can you imagine? I worked at Scott Air Base. I was an EEOC specialist, and this man handed me his tray. So when we have friends, and a lot of us do, not only do I have white friends, I have white relatives. And when you're in their company and you notice an offensive habit, it would be kind of you, whether you're white or black, it would be kind of you, if you know better, to, take them aside and say, what you said, that kind of thing is not nice. Let's face it, as a race, we've been offended a long time. And it's about time we all get involved with putting a stop to it. And again, I say Jill Scott is trying to raise a young man, and I applaud her. And I applaud any woman, black or white, who recognize that a boy child needs a male. He needs a father figure. And also, it was mentioned, and I've mentioned it before, sometimes we say, well, there's not a man in the house. Well, there might be a man in the family. There might be an uncle or grandfather or cousin, or if the mailman even could be a role model. Take time out to explain to your son. Don't stop the mailman from his job, but be friendly to him. And hopefully, if he will accept a bottle of water from you, hopefully you could probably slow him down once a month or week or so. But let your son know, son, that's the mailman. He works. Let him know the kind of job he has. And as your son gets older, let him know what the job pays even. Because it's public record what our civil servants make, their income. So we need to explain to our sons what work is. We need to let them know what a male figure should be in the home, his responsibilities, and let your son know that, hey, one day you grow up, and you'll be the head of a household. And let's face it, if there's a man in the house and there's a woman in the house, the man should be the head. And if you're in a house and you can't respect your man enough to let him take the reign, I don't believe in divorce, but you need counseling and you need to fix that, because children need to recognize a strength hierarchy, if you want to call it that. But help your man. If your man has not developed, or if he doesn't want to assume responsibility, it's okay to encourage him. You know, I remember my mother used to take my father's money, but she would always go out and buy something, and she always said, "Look what Daddy bought me." You know, and as I grew older, I knew it was her. She had, control of the money, and I know she did because as I grew up, I was the one that cashed his check and gave her the money when she came home from work. So he trusted her to run the household, but she always made sure to let us know that he was the man making the money and he took care of the home. Also, speaking of children, and again, boy children, we need to be careful who we expose our children to. Believe it or not, most children have been abused because of somebody that the parents brought into their life or brought into the home. And again, I'm going to get on us women. Since we are, usually if there's a one-parent household, the mother is the head in a one-parent. There are a few households where the father has the children, but in most cases, it's the mother who's responsible for the children. And so, mothers, let's stop being desperate in need of friends, because we need to be careful not to bring somebody in our homes that might harm our children.